So, to recap, you spent your time on Bedroll Isle, making yourself a little bit more familiar with the surrounds of the Dogfish itself, or as you've discovered, this place that was originally called Elves Inlet. You have worked out that to your location, which is the east of the map, but the north of Angel's Port, so the north of the city itself, heading inland, is the higher ground on which sit the Deadstones and a marshy sort of estuary place. To what is the south of Angel's Port, towards the coast and the end of the enormous Black Wharf jetty above you, is this place called the Dry Wood, where you have seen what looks to be a bizarrely perfectly preserved elvish relic of a building there, in amongst petrified trees that would have died, hundreds of years ago. The Dogfish, as you know, at this time of the day, getting into the later afternoon, if you recall, you went down to the east side of, as you see it on the map, of the Bedroll Isle, as the food vendors started to work and had the most exquisite skewers of local estuary mussels in various sources, of which Damian found some Kandumish spice dip there that I hadn't had for some time, which was a marvellous experience. You're aware that later on there is a potential interest in meeting Dosco Makepeace, who runs the Dogfish vendor on the isle amongst the food people, and he spent some time with his staff who were prepping for his night's service. You've gained the impression that Dosco is a Gordon Ramsay type. You're not sure about his temperament, but he's obviously like the head chef. He does none of the prep. He just turns up and makes the magic happen. You have learnt a little bit more about some of the opportunities within the Dogfish, such as Nastryn's Macabrey, where there is a booking service where you can make an appointment for 10 pieces of gold to have a reading done of an item. However, what you don't know is the cost of the item, but you've gained the impression that the complexity and the power of the item would adjust the price you pay for its assessment. You've learnt that the Dogfish is run by the proprietor, the owner, they refer to him. The word seems to change, him or her. You know that there is an island here called the Residence, which is forbidden to anybody in the Dogfish, as is Hugran Hoddy Village, which sits to the north of your position, but the west of Angel Port in this estuary. Looking now that the shadow of the angel is carrying more dominance and blocking more of the sun that leaches down through the estuary opening under the Black Wharf, but also the grates and the gaps between the beams above you, and it's getting darker quite quickly. You can see that the residence itself is like a beacon. You can see that there are, from this distance, you can see that workers are going around the edge of the island lighting torches. It's like bulrush torches. It's lit like you wouldn't believe. And the residence itself is bathed in lamplight, like bright lamplight. Of course, the Grand Tavern, the music has been pervading since lunchtime. It's getting louder as the afternoon is starting to wear on. You've noticed that more small boats are coming through the inlets, bringing more people in, particularly travelling sea crews from the docks, and you have been warned that there are some Vretzian pirate crew members in the actual Grand Tavern themselves and on the island. Yesterday, you made some investigations when you were pursuing the concept of where this Bedfrey Medic went, who had suspiciously, at least in posture or action, looked like he was no longer as badly wounded as he was when he was saved by Squadge, and Damian actually provided some medical assistance to him. When you saw him, your impression was he had no look of pain as he moved into a tent, which had this black and gold livery and guards that were guarding it. You have since, you don't know, in your own travels, whether or not... Sorry, I'm just checking the commentary. So you're having problems with it, Caleb? Breaking up?
I got no issues.
Okay.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, mate. So hopefully it gets better for you. Lots of robot noise. Okay.
Oh, back.
Okay. Let me just look at the actual sound settings and maybe drop those and see if that helps.
Have you got something playing?
Yes.
The Herfin, yeah, okay. So you might just need to turn down in your settings. Might just need to turn down that music.
Yeah, the sound settings, Caleb,
Not
on your
you,
end.
Matt. Yeah. I turn mine right down. I do hear it in the background.
Okay. So that's sort of where you are at the moment. You've made some inquiries. You've met the punt, the water taxi operator, Julman, who is, you're quite certain, a retired soldier of some form who's taken up running a water taxi, and you have paid him well to be available for you to travel over to the Deadstones at 10 p.m. tonight.
And the approximate time now? Is about
after you went down at 3, you spent some time at Dosco's dog fishery. And I think with the negotiations, you're probably still only about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Okay, so, and we're at the dock, correct?
No, you're sort of on the, as you're looking at it, the eastern side of Bedroll Isle, down the bottom where most of the food vendors are starting their operations.
Oh, sorry, Matt, I thought we'd walk to the dock and we'd come across...
Ah, that's right. You had walked down to the dock. My apologies. Yeah, sorry. I haven't had a chance to edit the last session video this time around.
What was his name? What was...
Checkpenny.
Checkpenny.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
have my notes from... I was looking for my notes before from the last few sessions, so I'm going to go in raw.
Mm-hmm. So that's right. You had gone down and talked about Nastryn's with Checkpenny. That's where you gained that information. My apologies. So,
Look,
yeah.
I'd like to see if anyone wants to get an item identified at Nastryn's. Now, is Checkpenny nice to us?
Yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, you guys have been, lining his pockets. You know, he seems quite impressed with your generosity. No doubt.
Yeah. So
He's got an eye. He's got an eye of the eye isle.
Yeah, the eye of the eye isle. Yeah, that's right.
Do you think this man's above board? Should we stop giving him money? Who wants to have something identified?
I think I do, but I have a feeling it might be really expensive.
I do too, and I too feel as though it may have a price attached to it. However, Bedford Medici's coin in our pocket was weighing heavy, and maybe we should lighten ourselves of this but we don't really need any money. Once the coda comes in, we'll be flush.
Yeah, but until then, maybe we should hold off until we've dealt with the coda.
Mine would be that expensive.
Make a persuasion roll for me for LItehands, please.
Yeah, definitely. Is that coming good? Oh my god, I'm rolling shit.
It wasn't. Whilst you had an attentive audience, and I was going to give you advantage, it's not your best point. Damian, you take an underlying from your companion a vague sense of anxiety about these valuations, and I suppose the first thought that comes to mind is similarly to your own, that these items have come from this bag of holding that have come, from Gassanolt out of the blue. He'd never mentioned these things before, or implied he had them. In the Knots bag of holding, which now your new tire carries.
Well, so does anyone object if I have something identified?
No.
No, I mean, I think it'd be good to get at least one thing done, because then we can get a gist for what their overall pricing will probably be like.
Over to the side, Checkpenny is trying to be politely inattentive. You're having your own conversation, but obviously you're not really making any great effort to hide your conversation. And he does look up and he says, "You can leave it with them in the secure box once you pay for your appointment, and they charge you less. They charge the normal rate, you see, if you go in there and say, do it now. But what they can do, you can pay less, and you pay your appointment, and they secure it in a reading box, and then you come back the next day, and they provide the reading for you, written."
Yeah. I'll look at everyone else and I make sure Checkpenny can't hear us, and I say, he's out to get us. He's just trying to steal our stuff, and he's just in for it.
Insight check.
Okay, so
Clean.
So I'm assuming Damian is insight checking Checkpenny and not Squatch.
Oh, well, mainly Checkpenny, but I am side-eyeing Squatch.
So when you look over at Checkpenny, you don't get the impression that as soon as he sort of realised that you guys were trying to have a moment in private, he disengaged. He's either extremely skilled at hiding the fact that he is observing or listening in to what you're saying, or he's trying to be polite and stay out of trouble.
Okay, so can I expand on that, Matt?
Can you what, sorry?
I'm just going to expand on that, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that the party already knows a bit about me.
Yeah.
So I put it in chat.
Yeah. And then, Damian, you look back at LItehands, and you suddenly remember this is predictable, but you know that your companion's cynicism towards the intent of others has actually saved you all a few times over the years.
Look, Scotch, look, I understand, but and look, I am very appreciative of the fact that you doubt everything. It does help sometimes. I think, in this instance, I think we can chill out. I'd like to think I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I don't think it's that deep.
Yeah. So to confirm, we're not leaving anything with this guy who wants to rob us, okay?
Is it at that point Checkpenny says, so do you want to go over there?
Yeah, no. I if you can set up an appointment, but the box thing is just doesn't sound right to me.
And Checkpenny just starts walking across the pontoon bridge, hanging onto one of the side chains. And he says to you, Mr. Sorry, I'm not sure, what is your name?
You can call me Mr. Lighthand.
Well, Mr. LItehands, I've never known Nastrins to lose anything. If it goes into one of their reading boxes, people always get it back. Their reputation is impeccable.
Yeah. And I take another step away from him and just
All right.
size him up a little bit.
So you sort of
I
watch
hear what my colleagues say, but it just doesn't wash through.
So Lighthand sort of stands back to his normal. The rest of your companions can see that he's got to his standard paranoid distance of anybody he suspects of something as you're sort of moving along. You go across this pontoon and you notice that at this time of the night the tide has definitely turned and you're seeing an acceleration in the water level. As you walk along, it's almost as you set foot on the edge of the pontoon at Nastryn's that the water level gets to that point where you can feel the shift of the pontoon and the huge tents and wooden outbuildings of Nastryn's section of the Dogfish like lift off and just start floating above the water. You just feel that gentle, rhythmic pull. The slack of the chains that hold them all together basically tightens that little bit. And you can hear that while they're incredibly well maintained, for example, you can see Checkpenny hanging on to them. And as he lifts his hands off, you can see that there's signs of oil and lubrication. They're using sort of vegetable oils to make sure these chains are protected from the salt of the water. So you sort of that slight disorientation. It takes you probably about another 2 or 3 minutes to sort of get your vague sea legs, because you're not expecting the movement in something that your eyes were telling you only minutes ago was an island, and now it's floating. You notice that the higher parts of the islands themselves, so Bedroll Isle, the dock, the Traders Float, all of those pontoons have been up now, floating. You notice that the calling well does not. You see that this relic of this like structure there, which is called the calling well, but you can see the water is starting to inundate around it. That does not sit on a pontoon in any way, shape or form. But still the Ruin View Market and the Grand Tavern as yet, you can see the chains are still sitting near the waterline. It hasn't quite lifted again. Okay. All right, Caleb. So you're not getting signal at all? Okay, mate. All right, you let us know. If you need anything repeated, right, let us know. So, yeah, you're in this now macabre sort of sense of this place being very different at low tide to high tide. As you look across to the Deadstones, you can sort of see the space, this marshy sort of space where you can see that the bulrushes are here. Gradually has become inundated. The water is starting to go across, and you can see that the ruin is starting to fill with a low level of estuarine water in the middle. Okay, so as you walk across this large, huge main central tent, which, like many of the tents you've seen, has like wooden structures built into it. So it has solid doors and things like that built onto like a heavily constructed wooden spine framework of these huge circus-like tents. Near the entrance of that is like a small wooden building, and it has an open frontage. And Checkpenny leads you forward, and he stops and he goes, "If you just go in there, those people in there, they can make your appointment for you, and if you want to leave your item to get that price, as I said, they can do that for you."
I'm going to need some coin, I reckon.
Okay.
So I turn to Filialis and say, Filialis, I'm not sure how much of our pro to be is required for this, but this might help us.
Sounds good. Oh,
Maybe you could come with me, Filialis, and we can go together.
sure thing.
Okay. As you walk in through this tent opening with LItehands, Filialis, you recall that the rulings for any knot is that the order is paid for the commission. What the knot gets while it's there, the tie's responsibility is to ensure that it's shared equally.
Yeah.
Right? So the resource, and shared equally in the context of, for the purposes of the members of the knot. So, that might mean you might have to spend something on someone to benefit the whole group. It's a bit of a communist sort of, approach to the whole thing of capitalism. But you have no responsibility to the chapter house in Anvil Hall for the money you gain while you are performing the commission.
Okay.
Yep.
We've only got responsibility for the commission.
That's right. The commission is the issue. Yep. Okay. So you walk in and you can see that there's some quite beautifully ornate desks. They're in a style which seems probably very much you're getting your eye for Balathian style of furniture and woodworking. It's definitely something that's probably been made in the last 100 or so years, and you would argue that it's like a antique piece of furniture. Sitting there is a gentleman wearing some dark coloured robes, but only dark sort of browns and things like that always give him sort of a monastic look, and it's like a uniform. There's 2 or 3 others in there working studiously at various tasks at desks who look similar. They have a symbol on their chest which is quite interesting because it looks like a 3-headed bat on their livery that they're wearing. None of you are familiar with the symbol, but that's what they're wearing. And it could well be the symbol of Nastryn's Macabrey. One of the fellow looks up as Squad as you and Filialis walk forward, and he looks up. "Ah, good afternoon. You are here for our services, no doubt."
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. He puts his hand to the side of his neck slightly, and you see he rubs the side of his neck. And he goes, "And what do you bring to the Macabrey today?" He puts his hand back down.
Something that is personal. I understand your fees are in the order of 9 to 10 gold pieces for an initial consultation.
It is 10 pieces of gold, and the valuation of the item would determine the fee.
And I turn to Filialis and I say, Filialis, this is delicate. You may not need to know what it is that I present. yada yada yada. It may not be a oh, people are dropping out. All right, there we go. May not be entirely appropriate for you to see everything here. Perhaps we can lend me, let's say, and I whisper in his ear an amount.
Okay.
So that no one else can hear.
All right. So for the benefit of us...
Stay here while the evaluation happens with me. It is just the item it's the item that is dear to me that I just need some privacy with.
He looks up. He puts his hand up again to the side of his neck and he massages it slightly. He goes, are you seeking an immediate reading, or are you satisfied with a delayed reading?
Immediate. And I look to where Checkpenny would be standing, and then he's standing like, they got this sewn up.
And he says, and he rubs it, and you see his eyes sort of twitch a little bit, and he massages more firmly into his neck. Please place the item on the cushion.
So I'm going to position my body in the way of anybody else other than him saying it.
Are you comfortable with this, Filialis?
Yeah, well, I guess because it's not my money. I'm sharing the money, so he can have his share of the money. But then, for the minute, this will be his purchase.
Yep.
And so.
Okay, great. So you have
a sleight of hand roll to
Yeah.
throw that onto the cushion.
Absolutely. So what I will say is I will get you, Filialis, to make a perception roll, but the perception roll is at disadvantage because you're not trying to see it. But you are a member of the Order of Rapscallions. You are a sharp-eyed lot.
Not nice word.
Okay, so no, you don't see what the item is. So, Squadge, you place your item down. And can I just get you to send to me through Discord, directly to me, what the item is you are placing there, please?
Yeah, definitely. Sure. No problems. Bear with.
The rest of you are sort of standing outside, sort of like looking in the direction of the Deadstones and the market. But again, what keeps capturing your attention is the radiance that's coming out of this residence. Its light basically lights up half the pontoon of the Grand Tavern, and where you can actually see your tent that you've hired on the north of the Bedroll Isle, because it's bathed in light from this island, and you're suddenly realizing maybe that's why the price is so good compared to the rest of the island. Okay.
As I expected, he's out to diddle us.
Okay. So you have placed your item, Squadge, onto this cushion. You see that the valuer of Nastryn's pulls over almost like a fibrous arm from underneath the desk, and when you look at it, it looks like it's grown out of the side of the desk, and he swings it over and it has like a magnifying glass in it, but it's a distorted prismatic glass that if you look through it, you will not get a clear view. You get like a fractured prismatic view of what was going on. And he pulls it over and again like goes and massages the right side of his neck beside his ear, like quite furiously and forcefully. And then you see that the actual various facets of this lens seem to change colour. You know, scintillating greens and reds, dull blacks, you know, like reds. And it's almost like a pattern of light of these prisms. And then it comes back and pushes it aside. But as he gives it a bit of force, and it's almost like it retracts itself away with a languid sort of action to the side of the desk. And he goes, The valuation is as follows. You can have the valuation conducted for 200 pieces of gold. Or alternatively, I am advised I can offer you 5,000 pieces of gold for the item.
We've got 200 each, right? That's the way I see it. We've got 1,000, 5 of us, 200 each.
Okay.
That's right, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah?
Yeah, these guys are rip-off merchants. But yeah, I want to know. Yeah, definitely. I'll I
Okay.
turn to others and I say, this may seem extreme, but I think it's in our interest, perhaps, further not, that we pay.
Okay. So that is definitely what you're doing. Alright. Alright, give me a moment.
Yeah.
Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to organise for this to come to you. Now the only problem I've got with that is lifting it over to here. Alright. So, everybody remind me, how do I whisper something?
-W.
#W?
Yeah. /
Maybe.
W in this is in Roll20.
Yeah.
I think it's, oh sorry, when I say / W, and then I think you can use S.LItehands, I think.
It's
Maybe give it a trial run before you send anything important.
Yeah. Unable to find a player with the name S.
Okay, so maybe X. Try X.
No, it's, what do you say, W/? Yeah?
Yeah, so / W.
Is there a
Right.
space?
Yeah, / W space.
S dot.
Then
How'd that work?
No, I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that? That's obviously not working.
yeah.
Okay.
Did anyone else see that?
No.
No, I did.
Yeah. So that is / W, not W /.
Alright.
So /W,
No space. Yeah.
then space, and you
Yep.
could even use.
Sorry.
Yeah. You can use LItehands, or I think you can use XIMES.
Okay. All right. Let's see if it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Unable to find a player or character with the name LItehands.
Okay. Try.
I think it's S dot space LItehands, right?
Yeah,
This
it's
is getting
S.
ridiculous, isn't it?
Or you could try that one as well.
All right. No, look, I'll just do something else. Just talk among yourselves for a second.
Yeah.
So it looks like this setup, I'm going to have to get a third screen on this computer, and in addition to the 2 screens on this computer. Right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Sure. Not enough screen.
All right.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about getting a second monitor, but then I was like, yeah, based on the space I gave myself with the desk I got, I don't think I can.
Ben, you got access to email.
Yep,
Okay.
for sure. Hang on, let me put another chunk of coal in the coal chute.
All right.
Give the hamster a carrot.
Yeah, give the hamster a carrot. Exactly right. Top up the can for oil.
Now, remind me of your email address on this computer, because I don't have that on this one. What is it?
Yeah, it would be ben.chauffeur, SCHOFER, at gmail.com.
Basically the same as my email, but with my name, not yours.
Sorry, was it Big Pond or Gmail? Sorry.
Gmail.
Yep. ben.chauffeur@gmail.com.
I was going to say, you can worry about it later. It's not of importance to the... It's more a character development item.
Yep. No, that's fine. No, but it's showing a bit of it's pointed out a bit of a weak link in the current setup, so I'll get that sorted out. Alright, that should be coming to you soon.
No
So-
problemo.
He quickly gets out a piece of parchment and quickly scribes with beautiful handwriting a quick notation.
And hands it to you after he ties it with a bit of twine and gives it to you. And takes your coin. It goes into a locked drawer next to him, which locks shut.
See, that changes how I'm going to develop my character, I think.
Okay. So, you... And he looks at you. Is there anything else?
I just put this orange peel under him that's got a bit of a coating of an oil on it, and I ask, is there anywhere where this oil comes from, or can I get, what are the ingredients for this?
And he
And,
looks
and
at...
I intimate that this should really be part of the price.
Alright. Give me a persuasion roll, but at disadvantage.
Well, I thought they were open to that kind of stuff. I thought there was a clear direction that... 23.8.
And
But-
he looks at you. And now the mouse has disappeared off this one. Where is the mouse? There we are. He looks at you, and this vague smile comes over his face. And he picks it up. This is a common item. This is a masking oil. It is enchanted to hide the attributes of an item. Would you like to sell this?
I'd like to buy some of the oil. I'd like to hold on to my sample.
And he puts it down on the cushion, and you notice the oil does not stain the cushion. And again, he rubs his neck, and his eyes sort of flutter a little bit. He goes, we have some in stock. It is 80 gold pieces a vial. A vial will coat 3 items of similar size. The liquid works until it is disturbed by contact.
I shall consider your fine offer of 79 to 80 pieces of gold.
You can make another persuasion roll for me.
This is what he is. It's just my character. It's what he does.
The price is 80.
Yes, I said 80. 79 to 80. Yeah, very good, very good. And I retrieve my item from the cushion, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I say thank you very much for your service. This Macabrey is the best Macabrey of its kind I have ever seen. And I come to Filialis and I look at Filialis and I say thank you. I have what I need.
Filialis, you look across as Squadge disengages that statement about it's the best Macabrey he's ever been to, and you see this look of abject, flat disinterest in his assessment of their services. None whatsoever. What I will do now, I will, as Squadge walks past you and out, wrapping up this item again in sort of some cloth that he's got hidden away in his satchel. I want you to make another perception roll for me. Okay. You walk out the tent, out this doorway, and you notice as you walk out, it's like they stop what they're doing. The four individuals. You notice there's no similarity in the 4 of them. They are very different. There is a woman, and there are 3 men. One of the men looks like he might be, from one of the more northern provinces. Maybe the Marches or perhaps Indalor. The man that Squadge was speaking to clearly had the look of a Balathian, but it's like they froze almost into inactivity as soon as you stepped over the threshold and out.
And just checking, it was 10 gold that was spent.
10, sorry?
It was 10 gold that was spent.
10 gold for the appointment, and then 200 gold for the evaluation.
Sorry, just to confirm, I've paid the 10 out of my own personal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've just used the 2 because I'm only allowed 200 out of. I'm very loyal to our knot, and I know that 100 is currently a good
It's your
allocation.
share. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right, so you walk out of the Macabrey. The Macabrey is right next to one of these titanic pillars that holds the Black Wharf above you. As you walk out, and you can see that Nastryn's has gone very dark because the sun is moving behind the shadow of this giant pillar, and it's actually blocking that light. You notice that the tent itself, in this dull light, has a faint glow of inscriptions that seem embedded into the fabric of this tent, which you can see in this dull light faintly, with a faint bronzy green light. Okay. What are you doing? The music's getting louder. You would say now that, after you've waited for that valuation and been guided over there, you're heading on perhaps towards 6 o'clock.
I think Windrah would probably ask Checkpenny if they interpret things, not just assess.
And he looks at you, and he sort of like, when you go into him, he's sitting down near on the pontoon up against one of the sort of chain barriers, and he's holding the eye in his hand, coveting it. As he looks up, you ask your question, and he goes, well, Storm Lady, I don't know. There are an odd lot. And I've had told they all know what each other has seen. So, if you go in there, they use their thinger to determine what an item is. And then when you go back, if you take that same item into another one, they already know what it is. They don't need that lens thing they use. The only time they've acted different from what I've been told was, I was only a lad at the time, but that last time that beachcomber over at the Deadstones brought out those 2 old pieces of stone that they said was elf writing and elf tablets. That time when the owner, he was right angry with Nastryn's, that they organised, they bought them and they sold them to somebody.
That doesn't really answer my question, but thank you, my friend. And then gives him another small gem.
Takes it. You're sort of like, you got to the point where you're training Checkpenny like a dog with biscuits.
Yeah.
He's our little lad. He's a little guy. He just,
I share my experience with the group that, they do know. They know, and they there's something going on in there. They'll be able to tell you.
Okay. And then you're sort of like heading, I'm assuming you're heading back to the dock and back to the bedroll isle, where, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
As you're walking along to the pontoons, Checkpenny sort of accelerates a bit, and he catches up with you, Windrah, and he says, Storm Lady, I think I think they don't really get on with the owner. I don't know if that's what you mean, like, but they seem to be out for their own stuff. Is that what you mean?
I wanted to know if they knew what this means, and she'll show him the little fabric with the symbol on it.
He looks at it. He goes, "No, I don't know. They might do." Oh, I
right.
see what you mean. Like, do they know flags and that?
Yes. Do they know flags? Because this flag is worth nothing, but what the flag means could be worth something.
And you see the concept of that is just above him. Like, right. Trying to think. The fellow who seems to know the most around here is a fellow called Osgun Tubb. He's probably the smartest fella I've ever met. Yeah. He's a mate of Dosco's, and he comes there most nights.
Say, thank you, my good check. Nickname for him now. Thank you, my good check. And she gives him like a little piece of jerky or something.
I'm going to also ask Filialis, can you please make an insight check, please?
Okay.
Oh, no. The moment passes. All right, so you head back to the dock and then take the pontoon bridge back over to Bedroll Isle. As you're looking around, you can see that the crowd is definitely brought out. There's like tables, like collapsing tables and chairs have been put together all along the east side of the island, and you can see that people are down there basically buying food. It's become quite al fresco dining in the evening. As you walk along, again you hear this guttural, wrenching call coming out from the direction of the calling well.
Can I make a perception roll to listen?
Yeah, of course.
Try and hear it more clearly. Oh, sorry, wrong button. Wrong button.
Okay. So that would be you hyping yourself up. You're going to do well. You're going to do well. Right. So clearly you hear the voice, the crackling voice of Kadrak calling out for Efreenis. I'll pop that into chat for you.
I need to check that I've spelt it correctly. Yep.
Not even attempting it until I see it.
Oh, I got instead of the I at the end, I had an E and a double S, but close.
But
That's pretty good.
Make a medicine roll at advantage for me for Squatch, please. Okay.
Look at that.
It sounds like a call of despair and longing and a dry, raspy throat from someone who's constantly been calling out to no avail. Okay.
I
Go.
share it with everyone else that This is what I can hear. Can you hear it too?
Okay. So you share what you heard, and I'll say that when you draw your companion's attention to it, all of you can pick up the tone that you believe. Not all of you can have clearly heard that what he's saying, because the sound is very distorted, but you can tell it's Kadrak's voice. You know it's Kadrak.
Is he calling for friends?
And it seems to, for Windrah, that seems to be a reasonable conclusion with what Squodge is describing as the emotional tone of what he's calling out for.
Oh, he's calling to us. We should go check on him. He's calling for friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you walk past, like you head over to the western side of Bedroll Isle towards the calling well. So you come to this little inlet here, where with the high tide, the pontoon sort of has this cutout in it, and you can see that there are 2 or 3 small punts just floating, tied to ropes there that aren't being used at the moment. Somebody's property, obviously. One of the things that you have identified on the way through, you got a closer look at going past the tent where you saw Bedfrey Medic disappear with those liveried guards. As you got closer, you managed to see the actual tabards of these guards at the front more closely. And you've seen what is a far less ornate version of that. On their tabards. Okay. So it seems to be a tabard of a dual-horned goat. Okay. All right. And the guards watch you as you go past in there. What now, when you get closer, is more of a gold and black coloured livery. But yeah, you arrive at this small inlet. There are 3 small little punt-style boats there. You can see none of them, all 3 of them, are poled punts. They are not oared. So it's not something that you can just jump into and pull it all. Everybody can sort of do that with some level of competence. These are actually poled punts for a shallow estuary. Now, the one thing that does occur to you is that it could be that they have been tied because the water level has got high enough that poling a punt may not be possible. The water depth might have got too high. Without getting in and trying, you wouldn't know.
Are there any water taxis about?
You look around, you're still residual with Squodge with the perception from what you were studying. You can see there are some over that are anchored on the side of Traders Float and the Makers Camp. You have picked up through the day that there are lanterns which are lit, which are placed in various spots around Bedroll Isle where you can use it like a semaphore. And you just flash them off and on to indicate that you want a water taxi to come across. And then you wait. You have seen that there is one of those about 50, 60 feet away.
He's been bloody calling all day. There's no need to rush. We'll go and console him, but I think we should maintain our low profile.
You are all used to Kadrak just doing weird stuff. He'll go off and do weird stuff. He will, you'll be at an inn after a successful commission, having some drinks, letting your hair down, and Kadrak will sort of have had 2 or 3 ales, and then suddenly he'll just sit and stare into the fire for like hours.
Yeah, I think Windrah would be convinced by LItehands. By Squatch.
Okay.
Alright.
All right. So you look across. I will give one of you, not Squadge, because Squadge has already done that. One of you can make another perception roll at advantage while he's standing there, just watching across to this island. Yep. So, you look across, and again, faintly you hear it, but you think it's getting more faint just purely because his vocal cords are just tiring. At that point, Damian, in your mind, you hear the voice of your father. You need to speak to him with the voice of sleep.
Okay. I haven't used it before. Can you give me a hint?
Everybody's voice of sleep is their own. Have you heard another's voice of sleep?
Not that I remember in this moment.
I think that says enough, don't you?
Okay. Alright. Can I pull... I get the sense he was talking about the mask here.
Is that the sense you got?
That's what I was assuming. How out in the open are we?
No, you're pretty quiet, because most people are on the east side of the island as you're seeing it.
Alright, I'll pull it out,
Okay.
assuming I have it with me.
So you pull this sort of vaguely grotesque crystalline mask out that has straps that go round your ear. Now, what I will say here is, can I ask every one of you, barring Damian, to roll a d20 for me? The highest d20 roll will get a perception roll in relation to this mask. Okay.
What are we rolling? Sorry.
A d20. D20. Okay, Squatch. Make a perception roll for me, Squatch. You watch as Damian pulls this item out that you remember from a wrapped up item from the bag. You watch as he pulls it out. Now, Damian, are you going to put it onto your face? Put the strap over and put it up to your face? Oh no. The pressure got too much.
Yeah.
Sorry. When it cuts out, I've just given up and I'm just disconnecting and cutting back, joining back in. So I missed that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, are you putting the mask on and putting on the strap?
Can I insight check a mask?
Not really. This will be purely a judgment call.
Just roll out your mask.
I'm going to roll.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll a d20.
Mm-hmm.
If it's positive, I'm gonna put it on.
Okay.
You mean,
Yep. That looks pretty positive to me.
I have a decently good feeling about it, so I will put it on.
So you put the mask on and you pull this sort of this fibrous, quite strangely stretchy strap over. And it fits comfortably over your ears like it would if you're wearing like a surgical mask. You pull the strap over. Squadge, what you see is when Damian puts it on and lets it go, it's like the fibre spreads and widens. And like you can see what looks to be like tendrils move forward out of the actual fibre. And Damian, for this briefest moment, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me. The DC is 17.
I don't think I have anything for that. That's ability checks. Alright. Good thing I have a high wisdom save. Yeah.
Yay! Okay, so there's this brief moment of excruciating nerve pain, but it passes quickly. And you, Squadge, while you're watching, you see that the blackening colour of this strap changes to more of like a silvery, purpley, glassy hue. And then suddenly you see it like the lenses of Nastryn's Macabrey in that lens, like almost like a prismatically crystal thing, just like leaps forward and comes through and encases Damian's head in this like eyeless, absolutely eyeless featured helmet, which comes over, and just the mask is like, you can still see the mask is independent of the helmet, but it goes over. At that moment, Damian, your senses are deprived. You cannot see. Everything goes dark, and then for a moment, suddenly everything, you get a sense of your environment without being able to see or hear. And spontaneously, you curse because it panics you from that moment of pain, which suddenly goes away. And then you get this sense of disorientation and confusion, and then suddenly this sense of comfort and happiness and ancient age suddenly coming over you. But that curse comes out of your mouth. And as you do that, I'm going to again, but this time, give you a Constitution saving throw with a DC of 13.
Okay. Slightly enraged. Have we had a long rest since the boat fiasco?
Oh yeah. You slept and then got up the next day because you met at 8
Yeah.
and yeah. You did.
Right.
You did. Cast a spell, I believe, on Bedfree, a healing spell at some point, because you touched him, remember, and you got that sensation when you touched him.
I do not recall, but I would not be surprised.
Okay.
Anyway, I was just wanting to see if I had my favored by the gods already.
No,
Just in
no, that's
case.
fine. No, I think that's fair, by all means. So DC
All right.
13 con saving throw.
Alright.
Oh, you just make it. And you start, this curse starts to come out of your mouth, and then you get this sudden insight that you've got to stop it. And you bite your own tongue to stop the sound coming out. Because while you're confused, you know that what comes out of your mouth into this mask gets out differently. You don't understand the power, but suddenly your father's voice comes into your head, the voice of sleep. And then you suddenly think to yourself, what does sleep mean? The rest of you are standing there looking at your companion otherwise unharmed, staggered initially. In your case, Squatch, disturbed because you saw this thing which in your heart you knew was death coming, and then the death passed. I'll tell you this, Caleb, mechanically, if you hadn't have made that saving throw, you would have died.
Holy shit.
No, this item was always teed up that there would be fundamentally a death saving throw with its first use. What Squadge watched is you surviving this tool. I warned you guys, this campaign is going to have this kind of stuff in it.
Good thing I'm just that good.
Now, remember at the start of this campaign I said to you that if a member of the Knot is lost, the actual order knows, and another member of the Knot will be sent? Yep.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of immediate pitfalls.
Oh, it would have sucked to have lost the healer straight away.
Yeah. So,
anyway,
in your mind, Damian, you like in your mind's eye, you get an image of Gassanolt, and you sort of realise it. Like, it sounds cheesy, but it's like he is smiling upon you. You've succeeded with something he knew was of dangerous high risk.
that motherfucker tried to kill me.
And the rest of you remember, like with Gassanolt, where David would go to bed early and he'd stand around, we've got to work out a way to get rid of that annoying little fucker.
Keeps asking me to do push-ups, man.
Okay. So, everybody, you're aware of everybody. You are looking around you. You can see the punts, you can see the island, you can see everything as you normally would, but you're not seeing it through your optic nerve. You're seeing it differently. You're not seeing it especially. There's nothing. It's not. The first part of your mind thinks, am I seeing magic? Am I seeing this? No, you're just seeing in a different way.
Like Daredevil.
Yeah. So mechanically, it's not giving you any additional properties, but I will tell you now, the one thing that you can discover without having this item analysed more effectively, you have an imperfect attunement to this item now, but you have noticed that when you are wearing it, you effectively have blind sight, like a blind sight ability.
Mm-hmm. But what I see is just what I would normally see with regular vision. There's no like secret little floaties or anything that looks off.
No, it just seems prismatic. It's so. Well, I'll tell you this mechanically. when you're wearing this
Hang on.
this device, it's all overwhelming. It's too much. The internet can't take it.
Just can't catch a break today.
Yeah.
I don't know what's
So-
going on. I'm the only person in the house too.
So what I'll say to you, Card, the one thing you can determine from a mechanical point of view as a player with this item, it is giving you blind sight, but it is doing it in an imperfect way. So, for example, if you are wearing this helmet and you make a ranged attack, it will be at disadvantage. However, you do not need light to see.
Okay.
All right? And as I said, it's not a helmet. It's like how this mask connects with you.
Oh, don't worry. I'll probably draw it later.
That'll be good. I could do with more drawing. Right. And that of course, as you're watching this marvelous thing, when you walk up, this is the last roll I'll make for you. Can you make an intelligence roll? Just a straight intelligence roll for me. No advantage or disadvantage. The DC is 11.
Okay. Can I give myself guidance?
Of course you can. Yeah, those functions work.
I will do that. 'Cause
Ooh, you
I-
need a 4.
Do not have a great intelligence. Let's see.
Dang.
Oh,
Oh,
dang.
no. So you reach up to the mask and when you touch the element that your companions can see as a helmet, you can't feel it. You're just feeling your hair. It's like it's not there. But when you're feeling the mask, you can't feel the strap either. When you're feeling the mask and it won't come off. But you know subconsciously there's a way to get it off. But you haven't worked it out yet.
My beard finally came through. Alright.
So the rest of you are standing there watching him. Like, first he's staggered, then he gets up, and then he starts feeling at this helmet, and then starts pulling at his own face. You can't work anything out. But he's completely silent, like no sound. There was this vague squeak that started coming out at the start, but it stopped all of a sudden. And the rest of you get this sort of vague, like bizarre interest but chill for these items that Gassanolt has given you. With the exception, of course, of Windrah, who there was nothing in the bag for her.
Can I try something?
Sure.
So I'm a little bit hesitant to speak with this thing on.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to try linking my mind as it's a racial thing
Mm-hmm.
with let's just say Filialis.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to be able to see them.
Yep.
And I'm going to try speaking to them that way.
Okay. So you're going to link with Filialis? Yep.
Yes. I'm just gonna say, can you try just saying anything? I want to know if I can still hear with this thing on.
Hello.
Did you hear
Say
that?
hello. I say hello.
So now you think of this mental image of the lot of you. There's your companion struggling with this helmet, like on his head, and the
Almost
rest of you are
dies.
saying hello and waving at him.
Hello, welcome, hello.
You hear every word,
Okay.
but it does seem echoey. It seems like no. I think I'll leave it there. It's like it's coming from a long corridor.
I will tell Filialis that, yeah, I can hear you guys, but it's kind of like I'm in a dream. Like I can't we're in a long hallway or something.
Okay.
Why don't you wake up then?
Get on with it.
Oh, what did I think of that?
So you two are having like this. You can see that Filialis is making stern sort of expressions towards Damian, and Damian's like helmet is bobbing around. You guys are just standing. It's all going on in silence. It's quite weird. It's around that time, because during this time Squadge has just walked off and actually activated the shuttered lantern to try and call over a water taxi. And you can see that one of the water taxis that's at the Maker's camp pulls out from the wharf and shutters their own lantern to indicate that they're on their way over. All right. So
as they're coming over, though, I would like to just make a point that should I just cover? I'm gonna ask the group. Should I above the table, not in
Yeah.
game? Should I just wrap my scarf around to hide this weird mask thing, or I can just straight disguise self? What do you think?
Very
Doesn't
big
matter.
floppy hat.
All right, work out what you're planning to do. I'm going to go and grab another drink. Do you want to have a 5-minute break or a few minute break to go and grab a drink or something?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. And then we'll carry on with your response to Caleb's plan.
I almost died. Holy shit!
No, serious, Caleb. That.
I rolled
I warned you guys in this campaign there was going to be this kind of stuff. If you hadn't made that roll, you were dead.
This is what I get for leaving it up to chance. I don't know.
I just
It's an
thought
even
that was-
number. I'll put it on.
I thought that was such a great way to work it out. Such a great way to work it out. I thought there we go. We've got a perfect tent where you can get an item valued and get the details of the item. Right? But no, someone's ended up just chucking it on.
I had a feeling Damian thought that if I showed this to someone, I don't think it would go over well. It feels
Hey, that could well be true.
not normal.
That could well be true.
So I wanted to keep it hidden. Yeah.
I will. You're watching as this water taxi is making its way over. It'll probably take 10 minutes to get to you. So more time passes as you, Damian, you're sharing with Filialis about the suggestion of, should I just wrap this thing up? I can't work out how to get it off yet.
I say if in here it should be all right, but if we go back up to Angelsport, definitely.
Good point. Yeah.
So with that, there's Damien, you feel like a subconscious double intake of breath, and that you feel your heart rate drop off. It is true, this place, you've seen so many unusual things here that are so out of place for a country which disavows itself of magic and things that are not human and pure. And at that moment, you sort of get insight into the real rot that's at the heart of Balath and its faith. It can ignore this thing because it suits it to do so.
I think either way, I might still just kind of use my scarf as like a
Yeah, sure.
just I want to make it look like it's just a mask and not that it's kind of fused to my head.
Okay. So you sort of start binding it up around your head with your scarf. Do you have, you don't have disguise kit sort of toolbox there? This would just purely be whether this would be more like a performance role. Or, no, actually, I'll make it deception.
Oh yeah, they're the same. Doesn't really matter. But
Okay, you do your best in this sort of confused state as you wrap this around yourself. About 5 minutes later, so probably now getting on to 6:30 maybe in the evening, the water taxi pulls up with its lantern. And you see this, young bloke, solidly built from poling around, in this estuary, comes up and goes, "Good day, my lords. Where can I be taking you this day?"
Is it a Julma? A Julma?
Yeah, Julma. Yep, a Julma. Yep.
Yeah. Are you? Do you know of a Julma?
Oh, yes, I know Julma. Quite disagreeable fellow. Old gentleman. Been here for a long time.
Strikes me as odd. He said you were the best. He said to deliberately point the lantern in your direction and that you give a good price.
All right, I like that. Give me a perform an advantage. Persuasion. Oh, perform. Oh. No, I'm going to get you to re-roll that. It couldn't be that bad. Oh!
No, it's destined to be. It's destined to be.
It's you. You see that he looks at you with his face, sort of his brow furrows with like this absolute your lack of real sincerity in this. You're not on form, and he goes, "Like I said, he's a bit of a disagreeable fellow. Where would you like to go, my lords?"
To Callingwell. We hear someone's calling. We better, reply.
Don't often take people over to the calling well at night. You sure you want to go over there? I'll take you, but for a decent fare.
Far out. I am rolling terrible. I listen out to see if there's any more calling.
No, you're too distracted by your own self-admonishment for doing such a demolition job on your own persuasion.
You're right. I had the plan, but it was like I was reading it without any tone in my voice.
You're being monotone. Do you know what you probably did? You probably slipped into your recollection of the monotone nature of the readers at Nastryn's.
Yeah.
So he comes down, he tells you he'll take you over there for a piece of silver. Being night time and all.
I'll pay that. I'm running out of cash, but I'll pay.
Alright, so you chuck him his coin, he has a look at it, and he sort of like holds on to the side of this wharf so you can sort of climb down this short, ladder, again in extremely good condition. The wood is oiled, you can smell linseed oil. A lot of time and effort goes into this place being well presented and well maintained. So you climb down into this punt and he takes you across in this, this trip across.
Is it a pole punt?
Sorry?
Or is he rowing? Is he rowing or is it...
No, he's poling it. He's poling it over. Yeah.
Could have stolen one.
So when you get down here, you can see that the water gets deep enough that he's having to, he swaps over. There's a pole that's about 10 foot long, and during it there's another one tied to the other side, and about 3/4 of the way over he swaps over to this one, which is more flexible, like a big piece of bamboo, but it's probably about 15 foot long. And when he pulls it down, he only has probably maybe 4 feet of it left when he pulls it back up, to give you an indication of the depth of the water now. You make your way across to this place called the Calling Well. When you get there, it is a circle of raised stones, which are weather-worn. They, at one point, they were perhaps ornate. You can see there are some features on them that would argue there were perhaps frescoes in them, things like that. But they've eroded away, and particularly they're hard to look at because the lack of light here, a lot of lichens and things have grown all over it. You know, like salty sort of based marsh stuff. And he drops you down on the edge and he says, "This place is a real bog." He said, "I warn you, it's swampy. I hope you don't have good, expensive boots on, because you're going to ruin them."
Much for you to stay around for a bit. You're going to have to get back.
I'll stay for an hour for another piece of silver.
Yeah, and I throw him a piece of silver.
Okay. He takes that. He says, "Right on then." And he pulls out one of the shorter of the 2 poles and he rams it down and he pushes down on it like it digging it into the silt. And then he ties a bit of lashing around it so the punt's sort of tied to it.
Give us an idea, how big's this conglomeration of peat and stone?
It would probably be, I would say, about 80 to 100 feet across.
Okay.
But it's probably about 250 feet inland in this, like, broken up. And now with the water level up, you can see there are water channels where the seawater has inundated all over the place. It's quite misty too, with the sort of the reflective light coming from the residents, and you can see. You think perhaps there's a bit of a thermal element to Elves Inlet, in the fact that the water is probably that comes into here is probably hotter than what it normally would be when it's coming in from the sea.
Kadrak.
All right, so you're calling out for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Then comes us.
So give me a performance roll purely to see how well you enunciate and hit the back of the room. Quite reasonable. So you guys call out. I'll take that with a help action. So amongst you, you're just sort of calling out for Kadrak, of course, with the exception of Damian, who's trying not to call out at all. You get no response. Do you want to head into the island?
Well, I think we should sort of go around the perimeter before we.
Yep. So you're going to
venture
circumnavigate and sort of have a good look around?
Yeah.
All right. So can I ask one of you to make a survival roll on the concept of picking the best route through this marshy stuff? Now, you've got to keep in mind there is no pontoons here, as I said before. This is a natural little estuary atoll. So you're not
I've got pretty good survival. Oh,
okay.
never mind.
All right. So, Filialis, you sort of lead the knot as a tire, and you start feeling your way around. You've been in bogs and marshes in Savin, and you sort of make your way around, and you pick a pretty solid route. You circumnavigate the whole thing. The west side of this island was quite dangerous to walk through, because when you get behind these pillars and this structure, the light of the residents is blocked. and it's far more iffy when you walk through there. What you do determine when you come back to where you started, it does seem though that the best place to enter, you see like a natural opening amongst some rock, which is on the darker side of the Calling Wells Atoll. It seems that the safest approach with the least amount of marsh and most amount of solid ground, but with the disadvantage of the minimum amount of light.
Sort of here.
Sorry, could you ping that again, Ben? Sorry. Yeah, sort of there into this side, sort of the darker side of the island. So I'll give you a moment to think about what you want to do.
I'm looking at Filialis, you know.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my nice clean shoes.
Oh, because it's sort of like boggy. Is there any dwarf-shaped footprints anywhere?
Okay, yep. So in that case, that would be another survival roll, but I'll give you advantage on this one.
Fire up a lantern, Matt.
Oh, you're going to light a lantern? All right, so definitely that would just reinforce the advantage. Filialis, when you double back, you find that higher up in the boggier ground, you see remnants of, you suspect, a Kadrak's footprints on some rocks, but higher up. And you can see by the pacing of his walking, it was quite assured. Like, you're looking at the tracks of someone who knew where they were going. But definitely it takes you around back to that entrance that you saw before.
Okay. He's gone in here. Gone in here.
Okay, so are you following the path? What's the party's direction? Yep, so you have a lantern lit, so your quality of light while you're moving through is better now. Okay. So, Damian, you cast Detect Magic. How long does it last? 10 minutes. So, where you're standing at the moment, you are not perceiving any magical force aside from what you're seeing among your party. But as you move, more may be revealed.
Yeah, I'll just concentrate on that.
Okay.
For the duration.
Okay. All right. So, in your case, Damian, at the moment, the darkness makes no difference to you. Your footfalls are assured. However, everything beyond 40 feet of you is just impenetrable black. Okay.
I would like to change into my honey badger form.
Yeah, no problem. So, all right, I'm just going to ask you. I'm going to ask you, Tom. How does this work? Describe to me how you change.
Well, I think because Filialis has already sort of short in stature,
Yeah.
and I think what sort of happens is that the sort of the energy of like that's used when the astral arms, I think the astral arms sort of come out and sort of envelop, and then um, like the transformation sort of happens sort of whilst being enveloped in like
Enveloped
the
in your own astral arms. So, like, you're embracing yourself
yeah
with your own power and then changing form
yeah
within it.
yeah and shrinking down.
All right. So, your companions who have seen this before, but not necessarily this close before, watch as your astral energy just like permeates out of you and envelops, and these arms wrap around your whole form. And while you're doing it, your form changes. And I'm going to say it's not clean. It's messy. It's like there's like liquid will come out from this point, and there's like a quiet noise of rendering of your flesh as sort of like the creature's leg changes and extends into your arm. But in an instant, we're going to, what I'm going to say to you, Tom, is I want you to roll D4. If you want to use inspiration, you can reduce and halve the amount of rounds it takes for you to change. Right?
Okay.
So it's up to you. Now, my count, you have 1 level of inspiration. If you're willing to give that up, you can roll it. Once you roll D4, you can halve it.
Right, so is the D4 for how long it would take me to return
Yes.
to...
Yeah, to how long before you actually turn into your honey badger form.
I think we're not in that much of a hurry, so I think I'll just roll the dice.
Oh no, this is a permanent establishment.
Oh, okay.
So you can either take a roll now to see, and that will be how many rounds it takes for you to change. So what I'm going to say is this property is like a ritual in some ways.
Yeah. I'll definitely use my inspiration then.
Okay. So 3, so you halve that, and we'll round down. So what I'm going to say is you can do this now in 1 round. You can change. So for future mechanics, if you're turning into the honey badger, if you do this during combat, you sacrifice a round where your action is taken up by your transformation, but your bonus actions and reactions still apply. All right? Okay. So with that, Damian, there's this flare of energy, of transmutation as you watch as your friend, like the body changes and this ichor just sprays around him, and he changes with this primal force of energy drawn up from the ground into this other creature. And you watch all the items start to devolve. One of the things, though, you notice is that the... Oh, he's back. Do you hear any of that, Damian?
Pretty much as soon as you acknowledged me, it cut out.
Okay. So what I'm going to say is your detect magic fires like with a flare when Felialis' form starts to change. One thing you notice as though the energy like flares, there is one thing that glows so much brighter as its form changes into a different energy and goes into the whole. Like all of his possessions and things just morph into this creature. But there was something there of intense brightness. Okay. Alright, so your honey badger is there, this snarling, surly creature is there. Your sort of worst properties of you as a person in this creature have turned up.
But I can see better in the dark.
Absolutely.
can't.
Okay. Now, what I will say, I think it's fair enough that we'll just explain to the rest of the party, Tom, because I've seen this happen before. Your honey, Tom's Filialis's honey badger form is fundamentally like a polymorph. When he turns into this form, he has the benefits and the actions of the creature, but his mental and wisdom charisma stats stay the same. Right? So it is him in this creature. You have noticed in the past that Filialis, this creature, has a bit of a rage problem, right? But what you've noticed is that this creature, you have seen this creature being killed and take damage and put up a fight. And then Filialis has emerged from this creature after a round, right? Has emerged from this creature unharmed. Right? Okay. So, you've changed into this form. What are you doing with it?
His keen smell.
Yep.
Because I imagine Kadrak smells
like Kadrak.
quite
Yeah.
distinct.
Yeah.
So
Make a perception roll for me, but the perception roll is with Filialis's stats.
yeah.
Okay. So you have advantage. So 17, you pick up his scent. You can smell him in these footprints. So the rest of you watch as this agile, muscular creature leaps onto these rocks where the footprints were and gets a hint of a scent leading across this stone path, which is very hard to see. But you can see there is now you're there and you've orientated yourself to following Filialis. Now, one thing Filialis cannot do in this form is communicate with you, unless he does so by magical means, if he has them, right? So,
I'm still linked up with him.
How long does that last for, Caleb?
I think it's an hour. Let me double check.
Okay, so you can still pick up Filialis's mind as normal, and maybe this is something you guys do when this happens, because you have this ability, he has that ability, and in the past, in the knot, you've maintained that link.
Yep.
Okay.
We don't even need to share a language, so I can, even if it's just honey badger noises, I can still kind of pick it up.
You can work it out. All right.
Yeah.
So at that level, Filialis, you would have been able to communicate to Damian. You picked up his Kadrak scent, and you start moving off with that litheness. What I will say to you for you and the benefit of the party, because this is again, all of these things you are a unified unit, is the honey badger's judgment isn't great sometimes. It's affected by its animal rage instincts, right? So you wouldn't necessarily have a sense of mitigating your speed to support the members of the knot, right? So while you have your mental traits, you don't have... How's the best way to describe this? It's like you've got frontotemporal lobe dementia. You can work shit out. You can bet on the horses. You can go to the bank. You can manage your superannuation. But you don't know when it's the right time to tell someone they're an arsehole or not. You know? Alright, so you're off. You start heading up this path. Alright, the rest of you following. Squadge has a lantern. Yep. Alright.
Yeah, I'm going to follow at the rear. Obviously,
Yep.
other people seem to be able to do quite well without light.
Yep. Okay. So you're moving along with that.
I'll be at the back.
Yeah.
Is everyone else going?
Yeah.
Okay. You head forward, and you come up this rise where the atoll gets higher, and you see this rock formation when you get closer to it, at one point was actually a carved piece of stone. And you can see that there are now... It's so reminiscent of the face of the angel in the tower. You can see that there are symbols that have just been washed away, but other things near it that haven't been. If it crosses your mind that something has done this to these symbols to hide them, Damian, can you please roll on your own DC? So I want you to roll, and your own DC is what for your spellcasting? Did you hear me, Caleb? Caleb, did you hear me? Oh, here we go. I must admit, though, it's quite enjoyable that it's not me this week. And, you know, it's nice.
I think it's just Roll20 throws a random, like, you know, bad experience at you.
Did you hear me, Caleb?
No. Next week, I'm gonna try using. I've got an iPad now. I might try using that as my camera next time, but
Okay, no worries, mate. That's fine.
we'll see.
So, what's your spell save DC?
Mine,
Yes,
15.
15. Can you roll D20 and see if you get above your spell save DC?
Okay. I did.
Alright. These washed away images of symbols that seem to have been deliberately eroded, like the face of the angel above Angel's Port. You make out some symbols which are strange to you, but with your detect magic, which is the lens you're seeing through, plus the combination of the facets and prisms of the helmet that you're wearing, you see liquid pouring across them, and before your very eyes in this focused moment, you watch them fade again. And the smell of salt, you lean forward with the mask, and the senses that you have in this helmet are strange, but it's like, you know when you smell your own tears when you're crying? The smell of your own tears. That's what this liquid smells like, that is running across these images and magically making them hard and impossible to see. And in an instant, they're gone. They're just gone.
I wasn't able to make out any of it, was I?
No. I'll let you make an Arcana roll at disadvantage to see if you pick anything up.
But magic isn't really my forte anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. They looked arcane, they looked different. So you're at this doorway, and I'm just reading all the nice rhymes that you two are putting together. Is this thing so boring that you two have got nothing to do apart from come up with that?
No, not at all. No.
We're just having banter
Yes.
as two characters.
Yes.
Yes.
While you were doing
Because
that, I
neither
was
of us can interact with the other two, because one's a badger, one's got a mask on its head, so we're just having our own thing.
no, just do you know why I was thinking while you were doing that? Do you know that in The Princess Bride when Physic and the guy who's the soldier, the swordsman, are rhyming to each other and trying to out-rhyme each other when they were trying to do something serious?
That's right, where he says, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What does he say? Anybody want a peanut?
I watched Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, and they're like trying to question each other.
Yeah.
That is so good.
It is.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
I only watched it recently. I can't believe I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah.
No, it's actually brilliant, isn't it? So you
Sorry, just on that, my favourite bit is where he goes, "What's the last thing you remember?" And he goes, "No, sorry, it's gone."
My favourite was
What's
the
the last thing you remember? No, it's gone.
I was gonna say with the feather, and then was that like a ball or something? It's like you would think that these would drop at the different speeds, but watch this. And because he picked a feather, they do fall at different speeds, and he's like, and you would be right.
It's funny that there are some such brilliant quotes. Like, I'm a really big fan of Guy Ritchie's movies, and in Snatch when they're talking about, this is Mickey. He was the gypsy boxing, boxing champion, which makes him harder than a coffin nail. What a good analogy. Harder than a coffin nail.
My partner and I turn to each other all the time and go, "Do you like dogs?"
Yeah. It's absolute classic, isn't it? Anyway, sorry, getting back to this. So you move towards this doorway. Damian, you have no capacity to share what you've seen. I will say, Filialis, that you pick up parts of it because you've got this mental link, and it's sort of like as Damian has been somewhat shocked by the things that he's seen, like for some reason your honey badger, which has an incredibly keen sense of smell, gets this smell of salty water that Filialis knows is that smell of sodium chloride, of the smell of a tear, right? And the creature looks back at this helmeted form of your companion that you're linked with, and you get this sense of depth and age in this place. Are you stepping through this opening?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Honey badger's charging.
He's going through. Okay. What's the movement rate of the honey badger again?
3 foot. 30 foot. 30 foot.
Okay. So you start moving. No, it's not sodium chloride. It's not nitrite. None of it.
Calcite.
Yeah. So
Just as a side note, the connection ends when we're beyond 30 feet from each other. Just
okay. So sorry, what was that movement, Tom?
Just 30 foot.
Okay, so you're moving at the same pace. So you guys are moving through. You step through this opening, and there's like a sense of apprehension which dissipates quickly. As you step through, nothing happens. You expect it to, but it doesn't. And you walk through, and when you get to the centre, you can see about 120 feet away what looks to be an ornate well. You can see there is a structure above. The timber is long gone. There's no sign of a rope or bucket, but it's definitely a well that has 2 stone uprights next to it. The interesting part is there's no sign of Kadrak that you can see from this angle. But as you look across, you can see that it's just bog and marsh from now on, with some like now would have become like streams of estuary. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, where are we? Here. Why can't I find it? Give me a moment. Okay. And take you across to here. This is how poor the light is. I'm going to just activate, just let me modify Filialis's token.
So I've got
And I'll
30 feet of dark vision.
Okay, and I'll just double check that, and I'll bring in the honey badger token. Do you want? Can you pull the honey badger token across and just chuck it next to Filialis for me? If you can't, I'll do it.
I can't seem to.
Sorry, you can't? No worries. All right,
No,
I'll sort that out.
see.
I'll bring it over. All right. So that your torch. I'll reorganise you a little bit because you were going to be at the back, weren't you? I'm just going to take Kadrak out because I wasn't quite sure whether Tom was going to be. Sorry, whether Max was going to be with us at the time. So I'm going to take that out for now. All right. So I'll grab Honey Badger. Where are we? Okay, let me check this. And 30 feet, you said?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, come on. Okay. All right. So, Honey Badger is there. Which is the one who can see? That one?
I can see the honey badger, but the
Yep.
dark vision is from Filialis.
Okay, so I'm going to get rid of Filialis for now. Can you see that? Let me just
I
let me
can't
fix
see
it up.
anything now.
Yep, just let me fix that up.
Oh, now I can see.
Yep, you can see. Alright, I'm going to put...
But I don't seem to be able to move around the.
that's fine. I'll give you control in a sec. Hang on a sec. Alright. just going to save that for now. Can you move it now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So you good?
Ooh.
Or has it just disappeared?
But as soon as I moved it, the encounter went black.
Oh, God. All right. Let me just fix it. What have we got? Honey badger. Sorry, folks. Why isn't it showing us? Okay. Roll 20. Come on. Can you see it now?
No.
Oh, Christ's sake. Alright. Everything is working, according to me. Why wouldn't I let it do that before? Why isn't it linking? Why isn't it linking? Sorry, everybody. Feel free to talk among yourselves.
I'm sorry, I can't talk to the badger and the faceless one.
Okay, so you're method acting.
Yeah, sure.
We're just rhyming in the background. We're just
Okay.
yeah.
Quite right.
Why won't that one go? The problem I've got at the moment, Roll20 has 2 versions of the honey badger on the board, right? And I'm just going to see, if this one activates, can you see this one? Nameplate it, dynamic lighting, vision, night vision, 30 feet. Can you see that, Tom?
Yes.
Okay, so there's 2 honey badgers on the board, one of which I cannot link to you for some reason. So this is weird. Let me just finish doing this and then we can get started again. Sorry about this. Okay. But it's not linking the hit points. Why? Okay. Alright, we have that, we have that, we have that. Token bar options. Alright, which is won't show me. Now we have 3 honey badgers on the board. Oh my god. Alright. Can you still see it, Tom?
Not anymore.
Oh, for fuck's
I
sake.
could.
For fuck's sake.
And I thought I was having tech issues.
Jesus, what's going on?
Isn't it surprising that the steam-powered computer has had the least issues this session.
Yeah. So now, Tom, I've got 3 versions of the honey badger on here, one of which I cannot delete, right? It's just floating around. Light layer, let's see if it'll delete from that. No. GM layer, will it delete from that? No. Token layer, will it delete from that? No. So I have one honey badger here, which, according to the settings, is completely operational. But it won't let me save it differently. Oh, Christ's sake. So at the moment, Roll20 is not letting me save anything. Alright, I'm going to log out, come back in, and see whether I can fix it up.
Do we think we might see Kadrak in here?
You have looked, but you haven't seen him yet.
I've still got the reason why I have the mask on was to see if I could communicate with him. So
Yeah.
I still haven't tried that.
Yeah. I think we're far enough away from the shore, but my only caution would have been that perhaps, given the face of the statue and given the mask is similar, perhaps it may be, and it was sparked on by someone's acute observation that you don't want to wear this above the above in Angel's Port.
Yeah.
Is that, if the resident, or who is it, who's responsible person,
The owner.
yeah, if he gets hold of the fact you might have this, it might be a sought after item.
Hmm. Yeah, well, as soon as I figure out what I was asked to use it for, I'm taking it off. Well, I'm going to attempt to at least.
Alright, Tom, can you see it now?
Yes, and I can click on it.
Okay, I'm not going to touch it again. So I logged out, logged back in, and the other 2 honey badgers disappeared. Alright, so there you are. Sorry, after that delay. So you now have this outlay in front of you. There is a sense of real foreboding. Up here at this end of the map, if you can see that, if you want to zone in or like zoom out, in the top right hand corner of the map, diagonally roughly to your current position, is where the actual well sits.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to ask you to roll initiative, please. Okay, did you click on your tokens
Oh, yeah, well, I have.
before you did it?
Yeah, I did
Yep,
mine.
got it.
No,
Good.
the thing.
Alright, it's coming up now. Sorry, it's a bit delayed. So I have
Did it go
Windrah,
good?
Damian, and Squatch.
Where's the honey badger?
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Alright, so the honey badger is there. Okay, so seems strangely appropriate. The honey badger moving slightly ahead of Windrah All right. So feel free to move.
Okay.
Okay. So moved up to that edge there. Can I ask you to make a dexterity saving throw for me? DC 11. Okay, fine. So the honey badger is like moving through, like snorting, sniffing, looking, but finding nothing, and gets to that point without any further concern. Right, Windrah.
I have small movement. I'm just gonna follow slightly behind.
Mm-hmm. So you make your way up. So sorry, Annie, you mentioned slow movement. Were you just going to move slowly?
Well, I've only got 15. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I do have 30. Never mind, I was looking at my health. But yes, I will.
No.
I will move slowly.
Okay.
Regardless.
So you move 15. Where are you going?
Just to there. I've already moved myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's as far as you're going. Okay.
Yeah.
So we move, through Windrah. We're now down to Damian. So what I'm going to say to you at the moment, Damian, I'm going to just quickly limit your vision. All right, so your vision is on. Ooh, okay. Okay. You can see all right now?
Yeah, I can still... I've been able to see pretty much the whole map.
Okay.
Like, it's not all lit up, but I can see the whole...
No, that's fine. So
fine.
your vision is scoped to about that range. Go right ahead.
5, 10. Hang on, I'm just going to use the thing. Don't have to count. I'm going to start by moving. Yeah, I'll go to about there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I think I might try speaking.
All right.
See how that goes. I am just going like I'm calling out for Kadrak. I'm just gonna like shout his name.
All right. So, okay. I want you to make a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. All right. See how this goes.
Okay.
I'm going to. Was it DC 15? I need a minimum. Alright, I'm gonna use Favored by the Gods.
Yep.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Which just means I can add 2d4.
To
So we'll see.
what you're doing.
Do that save.
That save. All right. Go right ahead. Roll
Yeah.
2d4.
Oh, Christ.
14.
Okay. 14.
All right.
Okay.
Filialis as the honey badger and Windrah, all you hear is Damian's voice coming out like, "Walk what you are." and this sudden sense of fatigue comes over you, like this overwhelming sense of fatigue. Damian, I want you to roll. I want you to call up the spell Sleep. Oh. No.
Yeah, he said nah, not gonna do that.
No more.
No.
No more.
Sick of your shit, Matt.
So, call up the spell Sleep for me.
Sorry?
Call up the
Fine,
spell Sleep. So, if you want to just grab that out of the compendium or whatever you like.
Here we go.
And cast it.
Alright. Yeah, I got it up.
Okay. So, the spell Sleep. It is what, 4d8?
The spell Sleep.
Yep.
Yeah, what's the hit dice it hits?
Oh, sorry, because I'm looking at... I clicked on the 2024 rules. Sorry.
No, we don't mess with those. Silly
Yeah, it's
2024.
different. That one's just a wisdom save. It's 5d8.
5d8. Alright, I want you to add another d8. So it's being cast at second level.
So 6d8.
Now I want you to roll 68. 35 points. Now I want you to roll. This is the really big thing. You've already used your Favoured by the Gods, yeah? Okay. The difference between the voice of sleep in this mask and the normal sleep spell is it can be targeted. Rather than it being the one with the least hit points first, and you erode them. In this case, it can be targeted. So I need you to roll d6 for me. Where did this voice go? I'm going to say that 1 to 4, it will be Filialis because you have a mental link. And 5 to 6, it will be Windrah. Roll a d6 for me.
I will kill you. I will find out where you live. I will kill you.
Well, this sleep spell, it's strange. It's a good thing it's not lethal. Because it was hit points
It better
damage.
fucking not be.
Yeah, it might kill you. Right, d6. So it's Windrah. Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a DC 17 Wisdom saving throw. If you achieve that,
Wisdom.
this is for Damian. If he achieves it, he can spread the spell's hit points between the two of you, or if he fails it, it'll be targeted at Windrah.
Yeah, there's no save for that throw, is there? From what I remember.
It's just a wisdom. Is that you said a wisdom?
Yeah, DC 17 Wisdom saving throw from Damian. 17 or better. Oh! So you have the option, Damian. You have suddenly attuned to the voice of sleep. You don't understand it completely yet, but you do know that you can direct the voice at one of your two companions, or even Squadge if you wanted to, because he's within 90 feet.
Sleep's 20 feet.
Is it 20 feet? I thought it was 90. See, the marvelous...
20.
Yeah, within 20.
Yeah, the marvelous thing about the voice of sleep is it's 90 feet.
Jesus.
So
Yeah,
you can either broad spectrum and divide that 35 hit points among everything in that range. a 90-foot range, or you can target one of your companions and take them down, leave the rest of them awake.
So they only go to sleep if it's the amount of points is over their
Hit points.
max hit points.
Yep.
Which means if I divide it between the three of them enough that none of them will go to sleep.
If you cast it within the 90-foot radius, anything in that 90-foot radius will get a share of those hit points, an equal share.
But it won't actually take away their hit points. This is just a
No, it'll just put them to sleep.
Oh, okay.
You think. You're imperfectly attuned.
True. But I can always undo my own mistakes.
You hope. Keep in mind, one of the things that's just occurred to me, which I hadn't thought about before, Damian, is that a lot of spells have a verbal component, don't they?
Yeah, no. I did think about that just now.
And I will say that while the voice of sleep is active, it will affect verbal components of the spell.
Right.
So unless you can work out how to get this helmet off, you cannot cast a verbal spell without
Magic
refiring
is
it.
verbal.
Yeah, but I'll give that one. I'll say we got
Okay.
away with that one.
Let me look at my healing spells real quick. See what they need. Oh,
So
they're all
guys,
verbal.
I appreciate this is probably a bit late in the day, but I just want to let you know that all of these items that are given to you, as I said, will have an incredible power but a big drawback.
Why are all my spells verbal? This sucks.
Because you got to pray. You got to say religious stuff like Ex Spiritus Sancti, you know.
But I'm also a sorcerer. Why are all my spells have a verbal component? What have I done? Oh no.
So unless you can work out how to get this helmet off, you can't do anything.
Alright.
You can, you're just putting people to sleep.
Yeah. All right.
You have to wake them up as long as you know what's happening.
Well, I rolled a 35. Alright, I'm gonna hope for the best and hope that it doesn't actually deal any damage. I would like to do 15 to LItehands and Windrah, so 15 each.
So you really your only option is broad spectrum casting to 90 feet.
Mhm.
So you can't select targets. You have one option. You can give one target everything, or just 90 foot around you. Bang.
That's what I was gonna do.
Okay, so basically 90 feet around you, the voice just echoes out. Now, what I'm going to say is, what have you got? 35. We're going to divide it by 4.
Okay.
Not including
Alright.
Damian.
Okay. Okay. I'm scared.
Can I ask you to have a think about that?
So round up and round up.
Yeah, divide by 4. But I would ask you, mathematicians among you,
Yeah.
divide it by 4.
That's 9.
That's a beautiful number.
Yeah, yes, Matt. We get it. You're in the game too. Cool. Thank you.
No.
Yeah, I know.
There's something else here.
I know.
Oh, this sucks.
So none of you have fallen asleep. Any of you got 9 or less hit points?
No.
I just have a question. If because the honey badger has less
Yeah.
than that, so will the honey badger go to sleep, or will I come out?
In this case, because it's sleep, not damage,
Yeah.
it's gone
Yep.
to sleep.
Okay.
There you go.
Did any of my companions look like they got hurt from that?
No.
No? Okay. Okay.
But you feel that's because you, as yet, do not understand this thing properly. Oh, too much. Too much.
Every time something important happens.
Well, ask Annie, like when we were doing the lead up for her background story with Gassanolt. Pivotal moment,
Yeah.
disconnected.
Yep. It literally, I think he said, it was like something like, all you need to know is, and then just blanked out and left.
All right. So, this power has gone ahead. The honey badger has dropped silent on the ground. You've lost that sense of scent. Can you roll D8 for me, please, for the honey badger, just to see what direction it fell in. Did he fall in place? Did he fall in one of the squares around? So 1, 2. So what I'm going to say, he actually fell like moving forward and collapsed there.
Could I, assuming it is still my turn,
Only a reaction or bonus action.
I, as a bonus action, can cast Spare the Dying.
Is it verbal?
Just... Yes!
Right.
No, I
So-
will not cast it. Actually, no, I
Spare the
would
Dying.
because it's a... No,
Yeah.
Damian would cast it because it's like instinct. He would just do it.
So he would do it?
Yes,
So he just, the words start coming out.
I have to play the character. He would just do it on
You would
instinct.
do it. No, I get that. And I think that's great. In fact, I'll give you inspiration for that. You are following through.
I think I have
I
3
respect
already.
it. Even
So-
if I hate you for it.
So again, you hear this like like this like dead voice from the past comes out of this mask, and it fires again. However, it fires for 4d8, and you need to make a Damian needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Man, get this thing off me, Jesus! A fucking
Use the
5.
power wisely,
You
man.
fail. Your total hit points has dropped by, let's roll. Your total hit points has dropped by 7 until your next long rest. You have drawn
Okay.
from your own essence to cast this.
Okay. At least it's not permanently.
Alright, for the next 24 hours. So
Okay.
roll 48 for me, so another wave of sleep goes out. Now, what I will say to you now is the DC to target this, or broad spectrum this, is now dropped to 15, because it's the second time you've used it.
It was a wisdom save, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Okay, so now you can focus. From now on, you can direct it. So you can either target the 4d8, or you can send it out to everybody in the area.
I think I might spread it out again.
Okay, so this with the sleep spell, this is not cumulative. The only way you can make this cumulative, this is for your interest, for Damian, is that it is only cumulative using the voice of sleep if it's targeted.
Okay.
All right. All right.
So either I roll really high and spread it out, or I
Yeah.
double down and just go all in on someone is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 14 points. How are you dealing with that? Spreading it out, or are you focusing it?
I'm gonna say I'm just gonna keep spreading it out at the moment.
Okay. So that's, reasonably insignificant. So it only works out to be, again, divided by 4. So that what does that work out to be? About 3, 2.5, 3 points.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect any of you. You all sort of, this wave of energy. But that would be it, and I think that would be the end of your action. So, LItehands. You've watched all you can see is this voice, a pain in your head, and you've watched the honey badger of Filialis just collapse into the ground. The soft mud.
No. Oh. Yeah. I'm having, hang on. I'm not jinxing it. There we go. That's better. Alright. I'm going to move. Sorry, just checking the rules.
Which ones? 24 or old?
My rules.
Your personal rules. Great.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to move. And I'm going to move to here.
Yep.
We can't quite get him yet. So that's my move.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just as a side note, I end up getting the spell off?
Sorry.
Because I cast Spare the Dying, did that end up happening?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, definitely. Yep. So
Okay,
you cast that on what? A honey badger?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you want to
Sorry.
put that in chat, yep, by all means. So can you have a look at that, Tom, from the point of view of the benefit?
Sure.
Tin of whoop ass. That's good. A lot of friendly fire going down at the moment.
I need a repeat of how Ben mistreated my character last campaign.
Oh, yeah.
I was playing a character, okay?
Sure.
I don't know if that does anything.
Because you didn't touch him.
And because I don't have 0 hit points. It's that I'm still on full HP. I'm just asleep. So I'm not.
Yeah,
But I
fine.
didn't really know that, so it was an instinct thing.
Yeah,
But as a side note, my my subclass as a cleric, when I cast Spare the Dying, it has a range of 30 feet, and I can cast it as either an action or bonus action.
Ah, cool.
That's fine.
What I'm going to say is get the honey badger to roll a con saving throw for me. What's your spell save DC? 14. So roll that for DC 14. Okay. Because the voice of sleep came from Damian, right? I'm going to allow Spare the Dying to work like it would with hit points. So what I'm going to say is that the honey badger has woken up.
Okay.
It's had a similar effect. So that's sort of like lifted you in relation to that.
All right.
At the potential detriment of your other party members. So you are up. All right. So, Squadge, you have moved to that point. Any further actions from you for your movement?
So I see the honey badger awaken then, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to... Can I double move?
Yeah,
Use
sure.
my button.
Yeah, I'm taking an action. Yep.
I'm going to come up to here.
Okay. Can you roll a dex save for me? DC 11.
I've rolled it. I'm just waiting for it.
All right, cool. No, you're fine. You get to this point, you look up, you can see this tree here. You could climb across if you wanted to. It's sitting above these two estuarine streams.
All right. Yep, I will take that on board.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, I'll leave myself there at the moment as the beacon of light.
Okay. So the honey badger is up.
Would I be able to like just like I guess I'll move up to here.
Mm-hmm.
And what does is the water there sort of like, is it like a river or?
It's sort of like a low point with the seawater is just coming in and being free of the actual marsh itself. Because you've moved to that particular point, I'm just going to do something. All right.
Never good when the DM does something.
When I do something. All right. As you walk in, the honey badger walks in, right, into this space, and you watch ahead of you about 10 feet to your right, and about 5 feet away from Squadge, you watch this like blob of gas, like a ball of greeny blue gas rise up in front of you, just floating in air, probably about 4 foot wide, dripping and lichen falling off it. Alright, so you've moved, you still have an action. How far did you move the honey badger there?
I think I moved 25 feet.
Okay, so you got 5 foot, so if you wanted, you could move within range of this ball of gas, if you choose to.
Yeah, so I think if a honey badger saw a bubble rise out, I think it would just try to... Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to attack the bubble.
Alright, attack the bubble, go right ahead. So the honey badger comes out, leaps up out of the marsh, just grabs them.
Yeah. Honey badger.
Alright, so you go to bite and you and you drop you just lose traction in the marsh and you drop below it, snapping at it as you're going underneath. So I drop down on the side on the mud underneath. Do you have a reaction? Does the creature have a reaction or anything you can use?
No.
Okay. So you have just dropped down to the ground. This bubble is just floating there. So, Windrah, sorry, we've changed. Like before it was honey badger first, Windrah second. Now it's Windrah first, honey badger second. So you should be able to go first. Alright, so Windrah, and we'll ignore the honey badger.
Alright. 1 second. move to there.
Mm-hmm.
And checking another thing. Whereabouts was the thing?
This
the orb?
thing is appearing here. I'll just hang on one
Right
tick.
there, right.
I will get the. I will move it in the layer if Roll20 lets me.
Trouble of gas bad.
Layer 2. Pool of gas bad. Yes. It's appeared there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Windrah will cast Gust at the gas ball.
Oh, cool. Take an inspiration. That's really
Yeah.
good. Really good. So
That's what
30
that's
foot
got.
range, so you blasted it. So what I'm going to say is it has some susceptibility. So I'm going to say that your gust, 10 feet, no more than 10 pounds. I'm just going to check this. I'm going to add 5 feet based on its susceptibility. So it will push you directly away. Hang on a minute. Let me just go here. 5, 10. It's pushed it back to there along this branch with that gust. And you watch as it does it. You see its form changes slightly. And it's like you can see like these gaseous tendrils lunging at Squodge, but it gets pushed away as it does that. All right. Any further action from Windrah?
I think not at this stage.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the actual creature itself comes back towards you. This is so weird. Why has the initiative marker gone on top rather than below? This is weird. So 5, 10, 15, 20. It will go for the honey badger because the honey badger had gone for it first. So it drifts over at quite fast speed, glides over to the top, and in that case, it wraps itself around the honey badger's head. What's the AC?
Of the
Honey badger? Sorry?
12.
12. So the creature dodges away as it tries to envelop the honey badger in this suffocating gas. But the honey badger dodges away. Okay. Damian.
Okay. So, speaking, not happening. We have an issue, so I'm gonna deal with it. I'm going to.
Yep.
I can get up to here, which doesn't seem possible, but it says it's 30 feet.
Yep. Perfect.
And I was diligently looking through all my spells.
Mm-hmm.
I can cast Booming Blade.
No
Because it's
verbal
not
component.
verbal.
Beautiful. Right.
And as part of that, I make a weapon attack.
Okay. Go right ahead.
So I'm using the bone saw.
Yep. So you pull it out. 13 hits.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Sweet. Damage.
So
Processing this.
can you
Okay.
what damage do we have there? Okay. 8. So you got 8 points of damage
And then if it moves more than If it moves at all on its turn, it says
Mhm.
willing moves 5 feet or more, it takes 1d8 thunder damage.
Okay, cool. So you see the damage resonates with this thing, like, but doesn't quite. You can see that it's hurt it, but not significantly. Okay. Right. So we've got to 10 o'clock. Do you guys want to stop here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make dinner, so.
We've got to make dinner.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess some of us have lives, you know.
Yeah, some of you have lives, yeah. Okay. So,
I have to go deal with the trauma of almost getting my character killed before I even got to do anything.
yeah, that was really, really good, though, that you actually survived. That was great.
I can imagine Mars, and we get a new member of the Knot.
Yeah, I reckon that's really, really good. I mean, there was, like I said, I think all of you should give some thought to a backup character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So what I'm going to say, you've swiped through, the bone saw has cleaved through, you've broken up this thing's essence. You see it sort of like like a bubble, like opens, and there's a discharge of like ectoplasm, but it seals again very quickly. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. You're on the Calling Well.